Hello everybody. Welcome to the first of many DSO live from our living room. It's Fridays at 7 p.m. We're going to be sharing a little live music with you to stay connected during these very strange times. The musicians in the Dubuque Symphony Orchestra and I really miss making music together, making music for our audiences. I guess I should introduce myself. I'm William Intriligator. I'm the music director and conductor of the Dubuque Symphony. And I'm not very tech savvy, so this is the first time I've ever done anything like this with Facebook Live. So I hope you'll bear with me. Even though it's called Live from our living room, this is not my living room. This is what we call our piano room in my family. A tiny little room in the corner where I can study my conducting scores at this instrument and make all sorts of sounds and not bother my wife and 4 boys. This instrument is not the greatest piano, but it means a lot to me and it has a very sweet sound, which I really love. And it was given to me as a present by dear friends Walter and Barbara Peterson. So it's a very nice memory of them. They're both passed on. Many of you may know that I'm an amateur pianist. My primary instrument is oboe. And when I'm conducting both the Dubuque Symphony Orchestra and the Cheyenne Symphony Orchestra, it doesn't leave me a lot of time to continue my oboe playing. Although in the last few years I've made some chamber music and done some little concertos in Cheyenne. And at the end of next season, in March of 2021, with the Dubuque Symphony Orchestra, I'll join my dear friend Caroline Curtis, retired Dubuque Symphony concertmaster, and we'll present together a concerto by Vivaldi for oboe, violin, and orchestra. I'm looking forward to playing oboe on that for you. But today I'm going to play some piano because during this period of self-isolation, I was sort of depressed not making music with my friends, and I just turned to the piano and brought back out old pieces of music that I love, and I just had to make music every day. So when the symphony staff suggested that we could start this Friday evening series, I said, oh, well, I've been practicing. We'll see how it goes. I thought I would give you the 3 Bs. In classical music, the 3 Bs are Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. I'm going to go in reverse order, though. I'm going to start with some Brahms. Here he is. The old guy. Here's another one. And I'm going to play the second movement, the intermezzo, from his piano pieces, Opus 118. And these are some of the pieces that he wrote toward the end of his life that have a reflective quality about them, a sort of pensive, looking back on life quality. During about the first week of self-isolation, I got a phone call that a dear friend of mine, a mentor, a teacher and friend, Claudio Spies, passed away at age 95. He and I had been close friends for 30 years, and it was because of him that I actually became a conductor. I was very sad that he passed away. He had a great long life, and I got to see him just last December, so I was glad to have that opportunity. So I want to dedicate this Brahms intermezzo to my dear friend Claudio, who taught me to appreciate the beauty of Brahms's music. This is live. This is definitely live, and I'm nervous. I'm going to start this one again. It actually goes on a bit, but I had to cut short some of these pieces so I could get a lot of them in a short time. You know, in 2020, it would be the 250th anniversary of Beethoven's birth. When his birthday happens on December 16th of this year, he would have been 250. And I'm still sort of heartbroken about all the Beethoven performances I'm supposed to be doing now and not doing. Beethoven is my hero, and I'm kind of obsessed with him. And there's so much that his music really speaks to us. And if it wasn't for Beethoven, music would be so different these days. We usually see these pictures of Beethoven with the crazy, wild, almost like Einstein hair. I really like this picture of Beethoven. He seems more real, a young man. I'm going to play the first movement of his sonata in C-sharp minor, which after he died, many years later, was nicknamed the Moonlight Sonata. It's said that maybe the rippling effect of the notes sounds like moonlight on the waves of Lake Lucerne, was what one commentator said, and then the name stuck. The Moonlight Sonata was actually written when he was just 30 years old, and it was dedicated to a student of his, the Countess Giulietta Guicciardi, who was only 18, and with whom Beethoven was pretty much in love. He thought that she reciprocated that love, but because she was a countess and he was just a lowly musician, it could never be. Perhaps that's what might be infusing some of the darkness of this piece. But it's a lovely piece, and I love it, and kind of want to dedicate it, well, two people. My friend Ilya Yakushev, who's a wonderful pianist in St. Petersburg, Russia, always inspires me with his playing, and I've heard him play this many times, and he inspired me. And I also want to dedicate this to my wife, Lisa, who always loves this piece, so she never gets sick of me practicing. I usually start my piano playing with Bach. There is nothing like the music of Johann Sebastian Bach. When I was a little boy, like really young, we had this little electric organ in my and my brother Robert's bedroom. And my father, who was an economist, not a musician, but a music lover, he would sit at that little keyboard, that little electric organ, and he would play pieces by Bach. You know, he'd play. And then he'd also always play the aria from the Goldberg Variations. And this was when we were going to sleep, so it was like perfect, because actually the Goldberg Variations were written as a set of variations to help an insomniac fall asleep. But the Goldberg Variations, the aria, has a sort of magical quality about it. Got another little picture here of Bach. Of course, being 100 years or so before Beethoven, he's got the powdered wig, but look at the intensity in his eyes. And look at those hands. I like what it says here in the back of this card. 1 second. Because it fits so perfectly with this aria from the Goldberg Variations that I'm going to play next. It says that his often stated purpose as a musician was to foster communion with the deepest mysteries of life and provide refreshment of the spirit. There's something so true about that with this piece that has a simple quality, but it has sort of a connection with the deepest mysteries of life. This was the first piece I attempted to learn on the piano when I was still a teenager and really getting into the oboe. I was obsessed with just learning the very end of this little piece and sort of emulating my dad in that way. I want to dedicate this little performance to my dad, who passed away in 2014. Normally it bothers me when I hear recordings of that piece and the performer doesn't take the repeats. Tonight I didn't take the repeats because I wanted to put a bonus Bach piece in before we run out of time. As much as I love that aria from the Goldberg Variations, it always feels like that's my dad. But a few years ago I stumbled upon another piece by Bach that, just like that piece, is a G major piece in 3/4 time. It's basically a sarabande. But this one somehow spoke to me, and it sort of feels like me. I used to play it all the time as my boys were then young. They're now teenagers. I had to just kick them out of the house to have some silence here. They're wandering around outside right now. But I used to play this to them going to sleep. This is the G major sarabande from the French suite, the Suite No. 5 by Johann Sebastian Bach. and I'll dedicate it to my 4 boys. There's nothing like Bach's music. This has been a lot of fun. You know, I should be responding to some of these comments here. Oh, isn't this nice? Sherry Lechecki Becker said, the perfect balm for our bruised spirits. Thank you. I was hoping that my performance would be sort of soothing and meditative tonight because of things being so topsy-turvy and turbulent out there. Now, I didn't want it to be all about flashiness or anything, but something meditative and calming. Glad you liked that. Thank you. Thank you for all these wonderful comments. Thank you. My friend Cindy Byrne just said something. That's so nice. Well, I'll give you a little encore before we leave. We're almost done. But I thought it'd be fun to do something different and not one of the 3 Bs, Bach, Beethoven, or Brahms. This is one of my favorite pieces to conduct. It's from one of my favorite pieces to conduct, Gershwin's An American in Paris. And when I told my brother Robert, who many of you know is a wonderful songwriter, when I told my brother Robert that I was going to be doing this, he said, oh, that's my favorite piece of all of Gershwin. And Gershwin wrote so many melodies, and my brother Robert is obsessed with great melodies, and he's written many of the great ones. So I wanted to dedicate this performance of the blues melody from An American Paris to my brother Robert. Fun. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope we'll see you at other ones of these DSO live from our living rooms on Fridays at 7. Thank you so much. We hope that everybody out there is healthy and staying safe and trying to find some peace during this crazy time. We hope that you keep music in your lives, and please know that the musicians in the orchestra and I miss making music together, and we miss making music for you. Thank you so much.